He was bleeding badly, refusing to go to any hospital where questions would be asked. His men brought him to the only nurse willing to help without asking who he really was. She saved his life that night, expecting nothing in return. What she never expected was that he would ask her to stay, not just until morning, but for far longer than either of them ever imagined. Stay till the end, because this story will completely surprise you. Rain poured heavily against the windows of Grace Community Clinic, a small, modest medical facility located in one of the city's poorer neighborhoods. Emma Rodriguez, a dedicated nurse who had worked tirelessly at the clinic for nearly 5 years, prepared to close up for the night, exhausted after an unusually demanding shift caring for patients throughout the day. Emma lived a simple, humble life, earning barely enough to cover her modest apartment and support her aging mother, who required regular medical care of her own. Despite her financial struggles, Emma remained deeply passionate about her work, genuinely dedicated to helping anyone who walked through the clinic's doors, regardless of their background or ability to pay. As Emma prepared to leave for the evening, the clinic's door suddenly burst open, startling her considerably. 2 large men rushed inside, carrying a third man between them, his shirt soaked heavily with blood from a serious wound. "Please," one of the men said urgently, desperation evident in his voice. "We need help immediately." "He can't go to a regular hospital." Emma quickly assessed the situation, her professional instincts immediately taking over despite her exhaustion and obvious concern about the unusual circumstances surrounding this sudden emergency. "Bring him here, quickly," she instructed firmly, gesturing toward an empty examination table. As the men carefully placed the injured man onto the table, Emma quickly began assessing his wound, recognizing immediately the seriousness of his condition. Blood loss had already left him pale and disoriented, his breathing shallow and labored. "He needs immediate medical attention beyond what I can provide here," Emma said urgently, reaching for her phone to call emergency services. "This wound is too serious. No hospitals," the injured man suddenly said firmly, his voice weak yet unmistakably authoritative despite his obvious pain. "Please, just help me here." Emma hesitated, professional instinct urging her strongly toward proper medical protocol. Yet something about the man's desperate plea, combined with the frightened urgency of his companions, convinced her cautiously to comply, at least temporarily. "All right," Emma agreed reluctantly, quickly gathering necessary medical supplies. "But if this becomes too serious for me to handle safely, I will call for additional help immediately." The injured man, whose name Emma soon learned was Damien Cross, nodded weakly, clearly trusting her professional judgment despite his obvious reluctance toward conventional medical assistance. Emma worked diligently throughout the night, carefully cleaning and stitching Damien's serious wound, her practiced hands steady despite the tense, unusual circumstances surrounding this unexpected medical emergency. Damien's men watched anxiously nearby, clearly relieved by Emma's calm, professional competence. As dawn approached, Damien's condition finally stabilized, his breathing steady and color gradually returning to his pale complexion. Emma, exhausted from her demanding, unexpected night, allowed herself a brief moment of relief, quietly grateful her efforts had successfully saved his life. "You saved my life tonight," Damien said quietly, his voice noticeably stronger now, studying Emma carefully as she finished tending to his wound. "I don't even know your name." "Emma," she replied simply, exhaustion evident in her voice. "Emma Rodriguez." "Emma," Damien repeated softly, genuine gratitude evident in his tired expression. "I owe you my life." Emma shook her head modestly. "I was simply doing my job, Mr. Cross." "Please, call me Damien," he said gently, studying her carefully, genuine curiosity evident behind his exhausted, grateful expression. "Most people wouldn't have risked helping someone like me without asking questions." Emma shrugged modestly, quickly gathering her medical supplies. "I don't need to know who you are to understand you needed help, Damien. That's enough for me." Damien studied her thoughtfully, clearly intrigued by her genuine simplicity and lack of concern regarding his true identity or reputation. "Would you be willing to stay a little longer, Emma? Just until I'm certain I'm fully stable?" Emma hesitated slightly, glancing anxiously at the clock, aware of her limited time before needing to return home to care for her mother. "I really should be heading home soon, Damien. Please," Damien said softly, genuine sincerity evident in his voice. "Just 1 more hour. I'll make sure you're properly compensated for your time." Emma studied him carefully, uncertain exactly why this powerful, mysterious stranger's request affected her so deeply. Yet something about his genuine vulnerability convinced her cautiously to agree. "All right," Emma said finally, quietly settling back into her chair beside him. One more hour. As Emma remained cautiously by Damien's side throughout the early morning hours. Neither of them fully realized yet just how significantly this single, unexpected night would soon change the course of both their lives entirely. As Emma remained quietly beside Damien throughout the early morning hours, their conversation naturally deepened, moving beyond simple medical concerns into more personal territory. Damien, still weak from his injury, found himself genuinely curious about Emma's life, her dedication to her modest clinic work, and the quiet strength she carried despite her obvious financial struggles. "You clearly work incredibly hard," Damien observed, watching Emma carefully organize her medical supplies. "Yet this clinic seems to have limited resources." Emma smiled softly, though slight exhaustion remained evident in her expression. "We do what we can with what we have. Most of our patients can't afford proper medical care elsewhere, so we try to help however possible." "That's admirable," Damien said sincerely, genuine respect evident in his tired voice. "Not many people choose such a difficult path purely for the sake of helping others." Emma shrugged modestly. "It's simply who I am, I suppose. I've always believed everyone deserves proper care, regardless of their financial situation." As dawn fully broke outside the clinic's windows, Damien's men grew increasingly anxious, eager to return their boss safely to more secure surroundings. "Sir," one of his men said cautiously, "we should probably move you somewhere safer now that you're stable." Damien nodded reluctantly. The genuine hesitation flickered behind his composed expression as he glanced toward Emma. "Thank you again, Emma, for everything you've done tonight." "Of course," Emma replied simply, though something about their conversation had left her unexpectedly curious about this mysterious, powerful man she had just spent the entire night caring for. Before departing, Damien pressed a generous sum of money into Emma's hands, far exceeding what she would typically charge for medical services. "Please, take this. It's the least I can do for saving my life." Emma hesitated, clearly uncomfortable accepting such a substantial amount. "Damien, this is far more than necessary. Please." Damien insisted gently, "Consider it a genuine token of my gratitude." Reluctantly, Emma accepted the generous payment, quietly grateful given her family's ongoing financial struggles, though she remained genuinely puzzled by Damien's evident sincerity and warmth, qualities she hadn't expected from someone whose mysterious circumstances suggested a considerably more dangerous background. As Damien's men helped him carefully toward their waiting vehicle, he paused briefly, turning back toward Emma one final time. "I hope our paths cross again soon, Emma." Emma smiled softly, uncertain exactly how to respond to his genuine sincerity. "Take care of yourself, Damien." As Damien departed quietly into the early morning light, Emma stood alone within the clinic, reflecting thoughtfully on the unusual, unexpected encounter she had just experienced, unaware that this seemingly simple, unusual night was merely the beginning of something far more significant. Over the following days, Emma found herself unexpectedly thinking often about Damien, curious about his mysterious identity and genuinely touched by his sincere gratitude and unexpected warmth. She quietly wondered whether their paths would indeed cross again, though she reminded herself practically that such an unusual encounter likely represented nothing more than a brief, isolated incident. However, exactly 1 week later, as Emma finished another demanding shift at the clinic, she was surprised to find a sleek, unfamiliar car waiting quietly outside. One of Damien's men stepping out politely to greet her. "Miss Rodriguez," the man said respectfully, "Mr. Cross would like to formally thank you for your assistance last week. He's arranged a private dinner, if you're willing to accept his invitation." Emma hesitated, surprised and slightly nervous about the unexpected invitation. "I'm not sure that's necessary. I was simply doing my job." "Mr. Cross insists," the man replied politely, though genuine sincerity was evident in his tone. "He would greatly appreciate the opportunity to properly express his gratitude." Emma considered the unexpected invitation carefully, curiosity and cautious interest overriding her initial hesitation. Finally, she agreed, quietly intrigued by the mysterious, genuine warmth Damien had displayed during their unusual first encounter. As Emma prepared for the unexpected dinner invitation, she had absolutely no idea that this simple gesture of gratitude was about to introduce her fully into Damien's dangerous, complicated world, one entirely unfamiliar to her modest, humble life. setting into motion a journey neither of them could yet fully anticipate. The private dinner took place at an elegant restaurant Emma had only ever passed by, never imagining she would actually dine within its luxurious walls. Damien greeted her warmly upon her arrival, genuine gratitude and admiration evident in his expression. "Thank you for accepting my invitation, Emma," Damien said sincerely, guiding her toward their private table. "I wanted to properly express my gratitude beyond simple monetary compensation." Emma smiled softly, still slightly nervous within such unfamiliar, luxurious surroundings. "This really wasn't necessary, Damien, but thank you." Throughout their dinner, their conversation flowed naturally. Damien genuinely curious about Emma's life, her dedication to her clinic work, and her close relationship with her aging mother. Emma, in turn, found herself increasingly intrigued by Damien's calm intelligence and unexpected warmth, qualities strikingly different from the dangerous rumors she had begun hearing about him from local acquaintances following their initial encounter. "I've heard some concerning things about you since we first met," Emma admitted honestly, curiosity evident in her voice. "People say you're a dangerous man, someone involved in serious criminal activities." Damien studied her carefully, clearly appreciating her direct honesty. "That's true, Emma. I won't deny the reality of who I am or the dangerous world I navigate daily." Emma considered his honest admission carefully, surprised by his straightforward acknowledgement rather than denial or deflection. "Why are you telling me this so openly?" "Because you deserve honesty," Damien replied sincerely. "You saved my life without hesitation, without judgment, despite the obvious danger surrounding my situation. I owe you complete honesty in return." Emma appreciated his genuine sincerity, though she remained cautiously aware of the potential risks associated with becoming further involved in Damien's dangerous world. "I'm not sure I'm prepared for the kind of complications that might come with knowing someone like you, Damien." "I understand your hesitation completely," Damien said gently. "I'm not asking you to accept any particular role in my life, Emma. I simply wanted the opportunity to know you better, genuinely, beyond the circumstances that initially brought us together." As their conversation continued deepening naturally, Emma found herself genuinely enjoying Damien's company, appreciating his sincerity, intelligence, and surprising gentleness despite his dangerous reputation. Over the following weeks, their occasional meetings gradually became more frequent, their genuine connection steadily strengthening despite the obvious complications surrounding Damien's dangerous lifestyle. However, not everyone within Damien's organization viewed this unexpected relationship positively. Damien's trusted advisor, a calculating man named Victor Lang, grew increasingly concerned about the potential vulnerabilities such a genuine, unguarded relationship might create. "Sir," Victor cautioned privately, "your relationship with this nurse could pose serious risks, both to your reputation and her personal safety. Our world doesn't easily tolerate such vulnerabilities." "I understand the risks, Victor," Damien replied firmly, "but Emma represents something genuine, something rare within our dangerous world. I'm not prepared to dismiss that easily." Victor remained skeptical, though he wisely chose not to press the issue further, understanding clearly Damien's firm determination regarding this unconventional, genuine relationship. Meanwhile, Emma continued balancing her demanding clinic responsibilities alongside her growing, genuine connection with Damien, gradually opening up about her own struggles, particularly her ongoing concerns regarding her mother's declining health and the mounting medical expenses their family could barely afford. "Have you considered seeking additional medical specialists for your mother?" Damien asked gently one evening, genuine concern evident in his voice. Emma sighed softly, exhaustion evident in her expression. "We simply can't afford specialists, Damien. I do everything I can with my limited resources, but it's becoming increasingly difficult." Damien studied her carefully, genuine determination evident in his thoughtful expression. "Allow me to help, Emma. I have resources and connections that could significantly improve your mother's care." Emma hesitated, uncomfortable accepting such significant assistance. "Damien, I can't ask that of you." "You're not asking," Damien replied firmly, though gently. "I'm offering, genuinely, because I care deeply about your well-being and your family's happiness." As Emma reluctantly considered accepting Damien's genuine offer of assistance, she had no idea that this decision would soon draw her even further into Damien's dangerous, complicated world, setting into motion events that would test the strength and resilience of their unexpected, genuine connection. Marco's expected call arrived precisely 1 hour after Emma's disappearance. His tone confident and calculated as Damien answered immediately. Vance, Marco said smoothly, I believe you're missing someone valuable. Damien's grip tightened dangerously around his phone. Where is she, Marco? She's safe, for now, Marco replied calmly, but her continued safety depends entirely on your cooperation. I want control over your shipping routes near the harbor. Effective immediately. If you harm her in any way, Damien said, his voice dangerously quiet, I promise you, there will be nowhere in this city safe enough to hide from what I'll do. Marco merely chuckled coldly, though nervousness lingered beneath his forced confidence. You have until midnight, Damien. Choose wisely. The call ended abruptly, leaving Damien standing silently, barely controlling the fierce anger and fear threatening to overwhelm him completely. Victor approached cautiously, sensing the dangerous urgency radiating from his boss. Sir, what's our next move? Gather every reliable resource we have, Damien ordered firmly. I want Marco's exact location identified immediately. We're not waiting until midnight. Meanwhile, Emma sat nervously within a dimly lit warehouse room, her hands bound tightly, though her fear gradually transformed into cautious determination as she assessed her surroundings carefully. Drawing upon her own inner strength and resilience, the door opened suddenly, and Marco stepped inside confidently. Ah, you're awake. Good. Your boyfriend should be contacting me again very soon. He's not my boyfriend, Emma replied firmly, refusing to allow fear to overshadow her composure. And you've made a serious mistake, targeting me to manipulate him. Marco laughed coldly, clearly amused by her defiant tone. We'll see about that soon enough. As Marco exited, confident in his calculated plan, Emma quickly began assessing her restraints, determined to find any possible opportunity to free herself, refusing to simply wait passively for rescue despite her genuine fear. Meanwhile, Damien's men worked tirelessly, quickly piecing together crucial information regarding Marco's likely location. Within hours, they successfully identified a hidden warehouse near the city's industrial district, matching several patterns from Marco's previous operations. Sir, we've located them, one of Damien's men reported urgently. Marco is holding her at an old warehouse near the docks. Damien's expression hardened instantly into fierce determination. Gather everyone immediately. We're moving in now. As Damien's forces quietly surrounded the warehouse under cover of darkness, Damien himself moved cautiously toward the entrance, his usual calculated composure replaced entirely by fierce, protective determination for Emma's safety. Inside, Emma had successfully managed to loosen her restraints slightly, carefully preparing herself for any opportunity to escape or assist in her own rescue, refusing to remain merely a passive victim despite the dangerous circumstances surrounding her. Suddenly, Damien's forces breached the warehouse entrance, quickly overwhelming Marco's surprised guards before they could properly react. Gunfire briefly echoed through the building as Damien's well-trained security team swiftly gained control, catching Marco's men completely off guard. Marco, realizing quickly that his calculated plan was rapidly unraveling, rushed toward Emma's room, intending to use her as a final, desperate bargaining chip against Damien's swift, decisive intervention. However, Damien anticipated exactly this desperate move, quickly intercepting Marco before he could reach Emma's room. This ends now, Marco, Damien said coldly, his fierce, protective anger evident clearly in his controlled yet dangerous tone. Marco, cornered and desperate, attempted weak resistance, though Damien swiftly disarmed him, his precise, calculated movements guided entirely by fierce determination to protect Emma. Marco was quickly subdued by Damien's men, his dangerous scheme completely dismantled. Damien rushed immediately toward Emma's room, his heart pounding anxiously until he finally found her, safe and unharmed, having successfully loosened her own restraints through her own determined efforts. Emma, Damien said urgently, relief flooding through him instantly as he quickly embraced her. Are you all right? I'm okay, Emma reassured him, though her voice trembled slightly from the frightening ordeal. I knew you would come. As they held each other closely amid the chaos of Marco's dismantled operation, both Damien and Emma understood clearly that their genuine, unexpected connection had just been tested by real, serious danger, strengthening their bond even further despite the frightening circumstances they had just endured together. In the days following Marco's defeat, Damien ensured Emma received proper medical attention for the minor bruises she sustained during her frightening ordeal, personally overseeing her recovery with genuine, attentive care. Emma, though shaken by the terrifying experience, found herself increasingly grateful for Damien's unwavering devotion and protection throughout the entire crisis. "I keep thinking about how close I came to losing you," Damien admitted quietly one evening, sitting beside Emma as she rested comfortably within his heavily secured estate. "I've never felt fear like that before, Emma." Emma reached gently for his hand, genuine warmth evident in her expression. "I'm here now, Damien, safe because of you. I want you to stay here permanently," Damien said suddenly, sincerity evident in his voice. "Not just until you've recovered, but always. I can't bear the thought of you facing that kind of danger again without my protection." Emma hesitated slightly, considering his heartfelt request carefully. "Damien, my mother needs me too. My work at the clinic matters deeply to me." "I understand completely," Damien replied gently. "I'm not asking you to abandon your responsibilities, Emma. I simply want you and your mother here, safely under my protection, while you continue your important work at the clinic." Emma studied him carefully, genuine love and gratitude evident in her expression. "You'd really do that, for both of us?" Without hesitation, Damien said sincerely, gently squeezing her hand. "You and your mother mean everything to me now, Emma." After careful consideration, Emma agreed, gratefully accepting Damien's genuine offer of protection and support for herself and her mother. Within weeks, Emma and her mother settled comfortably into a private, secure section of Damien's estate, Emma continuing her cherished clinic work each day, now free from the financial burdens and dangerous uncertainties that had previously defined her difficult, humble life. As Emma's new life gradually stabilized, her relationship with Damien deepened significantly, both of them genuinely cherishing the authentic connection they had built together despite the dangerous circumstances surrounding their unconventional beginning. However, adjusting fully to Damien's dangerous world proved challenging for Emma at times, particularly as she began understanding more clearly the serious responsibilities and constant vigilance required within his powerful, complicated position. "Sometimes I worry I'll never truly understand this world you navigate daily," Emma admitted honestly one evening, watching Damien carefully review important business documents within his private study. Damien looked up, genuine understanding evident in his expression. "You don't need to fully understand every aspect of my world, Emma. What matters most is that you understand me, genuinely, and that I understand you in return." Emma smiled softly, comforted by his sincere reassurance. "I suppose you're right. I just want to make sure I'm truly prepared for whatever challenges our relationship might bring. We'll face them together," Damien promised firmly, gently taking her hand. "Whatever comes next, Emma, I promise you won't face it alone." As their relationship continued strengthening through genuine trust, honesty, and mutual support, Emma gradually became more confident navigating her unconventional new life alongside Damien, cherishing deeply the authentic love and protection they had built together despite their initially unlikely, dangerous beginning. One quiet evening, several months after Marco's dangerous scheme had been fully resolved, Damien approached Emma with genuine excitement evident in his expression. "Emma, I have something important I'd like to discuss with you." Emma studied him curiously, noticing his unusual nervousness despite his typically calm, composed demeanor. "What is it, Damien?" "I've spent months reflecting on everything we've built together," Damien explained sincerely, "our genuine connection, the trust and love we've developed despite the dangerous circumstances surrounding our beginning. I want to take the next step in our relationship, Emma. Something permanent and meaningful." Emma's heart raced with anticipation, genuine happiness evident in her expression as she began understanding clearly the significance behind Damien's heartfelt words. Damien gently guided Emma toward the estate's peaceful garden, the evening air calm and warm around them, the same garden where they had shared so many meaningful conversations throughout their unexpected journey together. Emma's heart continued racing with anticipation, uncertain exactly what Damien intended. Though genuine hope and happiness filled her expression, "Emma," Damien began softly, taking both her hands gently in his, "when I first asked you to stay that single night at your clinic, I never imagined it would lead to this moment. I never imagined that a simple request for help would introduce me to someone who would completely transform my entire life." Emma smiled warmly, genuine emotion evident in her expression as she listened carefully to his heartfelt words. "You saved my life that night." Without hesitation, Without judgment, Damien continued sincerely. But more than that, you saved me from a life of calculated loneliness, showing me genuine warmth, honesty, and love I never believed I deserved or would ever find. Emma's eyes filled with happy tears, overwhelmed by the depth of sincerity evident in Damien's heartfelt words. Damien, you've given me and my mother a life we never could have imagined. Filled with genuine happiness and security, Damien gently knelt down before her, retrieving a small velvet box from his jacket pocket. His eyes filled with genuine love and sincerity. Emma Rodriguez, from that very first night, you've shown me exactly what genuine love and connection truly mean. Will you marry me and allow me to spend the rest of my life protecting, cherishing, and loving you exactly as you deserve? Emma's happy tears flowed freely as she nodded enthusiastically, overwhelming joy evident in her voice. Yes, Damien. Absolutely, yes, as Damien gently slipped the beautiful ring onto her finger. Pulling her into a warm, loving embrace, Emma felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude and happiness, reflecting on the incredible journey that had brought them together from such an unexpected, dangerous beginning. Their wedding took place several months later, a beautiful, joyful celebration attended by Emma's grateful mother, the loyal clinic staff who had supported Emma throughout her humble beginnings, and Damien's most trusted associates, all genuinely delighted by the authentic love story that had unfolded before them. As Emma stood beside Damien during their heartfelt wedding ceremony, she reflected quietly on how drastically her life had transformed since that unexpected, rainy night at the clinic. She had once been a simple, humble nurse struggling financially to support herself and her aging mother, uncertain of what the future might hold. Now, she stood confidently as Damien's genuine partner, deeply loved and cherished. Her mother's health steadily improving under proper medical care, her own life filled with authentic happiness and security she had never imagined possible. Following their beautiful wedding ceremony, Damien addressed their gathered guests warmly, genuine happiness evident in his heartfelt words. Emma has taught me that genuine happiness isn't found through power, wealth, or fear, but through authentic connection, honesty, and love. I'm endlessly grateful she chose to stay that single night, and even more grateful she's chosen to stay with me forever. The guests applauded warmly, genuinely moved by Damien's heartfelt words and the beautiful love story they had witnessed unfold. Emma, standing proudly beside her husband, felt genuine happiness and gratitude filling her heart completely. As Damien and Emma embraced joyfully amid their cheering guests, both of them understood clearly that their unexpected journey, beginning with a single, rainy night and a desperate request for help, had ultimately blossomed into a genuine, authentic love story neither of them could have ever anticipated, proving that sometimes the most unexpected beginnings lead toward the most beautiful, unbreakable forever.